Hey guys, I was thinking about movie theaters, and I had this idea that we were talking about it, and you all heard it because we had our mic still plugged in. But movie theaters need to be based around things like an optometrist. I've said this before, that checks your eyes, and if one's off, and somehow, because everybody does this either with surgery or just with like willing it to happen. In the past, it used to just be obvious, and you'd have to go to a chiropractor and do all this shit. But now people just twist around with sugar and will and wish everything to look like it's straight. So, your eyes could be, pointing together or outward, or one slightly up and slightly down or something. That's the misarrangement that white people have such a hard time making glasses for people. Or be colorblind because they've never had enough nutrition and are inbred slightly, but not that much, from too small of a community. And, not enough diverse genetics.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't need to be the optometrist.
Yeah, I know. And then you could have, the point is that malls suck because there's nothing teenagers want to do and they don't want to hang out. So my brother came up with a skate park, and I was like, yeah, racquetball court would be cool. And then you could have movie-specific things that are set up outdoors, like an obstacle course that's like the one in the movie with a number of logs that are made out of, soft padded stuff, or what have you, low-lying walls for a parkour scene and recreated.
Yeah, then there's a reason for a gym to be connected, and if you have just things that are actually absolutely fabulously fun and everybody agrees are timeless, like skating rinks and just gyms and stuff, and classic eating that everybody wants that is more healthy slightly, not killing you immediately.
Like Taco Time with sea salt.
Yeah. So then, yeah, you got all that stuff. So, why? What's up with this whole thing where somehow the modern area, it's impossible, as everyone's trying to, they always say this, take a piece of your schedule, like they're greedy, nah, you gotta be across town, across the valley, across the universe, in a half hour, And everybody's always annoyed or understanding when you're late, or early or whatever the hell. As the old traffic, yep, it was sure backed up. I'm so gleeful about that. Now imagine if you want to all go as a family and have a good time in the afternoon, and whatever movies are playing, some people have already seen all the movies they want to watch for the time being. But there's other fucking shit at the movie theater.
Yeah, because the main problem with retaining especially the teenagers at a mall, which spend the most of their parents' money, yeah. Anyways, the point is to have not the theater be in the mall with the mall crumbling around it, but little tiny pieces like storefronts that change with each movie and the trends of the society. Where it's like the theater's decision to allow them to lose their spot if they want to replace them with something else, so it stays relevant rather than them constantly getting to secure a position and never let go,
and then claim they're making money and say that they'll get their fucking cousin to stab you if you don't let them. No.
You see what I mean? It's very upfront. There's only a few businesses, and then there's additional stuff with a covered walkway to another building right next to it, so it's not actually attached to the theater.
Also, there's this new societal trend where the people, this is how it used to be in the past, and they'll try to hide this with any talk of communism or guilds or governments. No. The fact of the matter is, the people that were interested in whatever it was automatically were the club. So who keeps the ice nice? Well, the people obsessed with the ice, how has it turned into this whole everything's a fucking business and everyone's trying to be the manager nonsense?
Well, that's what I was saying. I was saying everything's sort of a service, and that's kind of what I was trying to get across by saying the optometrist is passionate about movies. He's passionate about people getting to see a version of the movie that's best for their eyes, that brings the most color to them that's possible, etc., etc. Everybody there is there at the few stores that are there, like Taco Time, because what do they like? They like watching movies, and they like Taco Time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so the area that was supposed to be fancy near us there in Meridian, whatever that mall place
the
was called,
Village.
It's terrible. They designed it as though you'd have shops with a hall inside And then
Like an
they'd be
atrium glass between
Yeah.
the streets where the cars can even drive, but they didn't.
Yeah, and then maybe the streets would be covered by the buildings and the cars would be going underneath in places, or maybe that there'd be the center area where everybody meets in front of the theater, and there'd be a glass ceiling on it, but they didn't do that either.
Like domes to posts with arches you can
Yeah.
enter. So then there could be plants that are there that are all grow in the winter.
But they did nothing and took off with all the money as usual. Because not to use it, but to just say it looks better under their floorboards than, being useful.
Exactly, that cliche. So my point here is, if we could just get, because it's what my brother prefers, a track next to a movie theater with a couple of different things you can climb, like that idea we came up with printable panels, so there's always new ones where you can move pegs through. Then you'd have this thing where then the people like him and certain Mexicans after watching Fast and the Furious and nerdy teenagers after watching John Wick, they can pump out that adrenaline into a really good set of exercise that, is in some way related to the movie, and then feel as if they're, connected in some way to the experience they had in a more visceral way while burning off energy.
And I know this may shock, all of humanity, but real people, they have energy after they experience activities. They don't have less energy for no reason.
Exactly. But for those people, there's, other things to do. There's an optometrist. You can go and fucking... And besides for that, like I already said, if somebody's watched the movies or teenagers want to be there, they like just being around the place where other teenagers or people walk out to talk about the movie. If they're, at all outgoing... Everybody's introverted, so it'd be nice to have an opportunity for all the extroverts to have a place to hang out where pop culture is really, prominent.
Well, they were already doing it in the 2000s, and they were doing it somewhat in the 80s as they hide it more now and pretend it wasn't true, but, actual movie experiences in connection to an arcade right there where, the game... the assets now for the 3D in the movie can be right there for you to play a game version.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be all about it being a hardcore game that goes on and on and on. Some of them can just be about, supplemental to the movie experience to keep you entertained longer. You know?
Like the Super Pets game we came up with.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's so many different trends, that's what I'm saying, that shift and replace other things as time goes along.
And that's why I'm saying it has to be like a public service, not a business, you know what I mean? It's like saying you're there to promote your other business locations even, and you hope that the theater currently wants you as a slot in one of the few 5 or 2 or whatever stations, other than some eye person in the movie theater lobby off to the sides.
You know that episode of, what's it called, where they're in a park and the gumball machine yells at them?
Oh, the regular show?
Yeah, there's the episode where they kind of did it better than most other TV shows that do it, where there's the graveyard and they're going to have the showing of a spooky movie.
3D zombie
haunted.
movie, and they get the special old 3D glasses and projector from some guy at the store.
Well, imagine actually wearing VR and or having hologram zombies or whatever, or you have a spear and you're in a safe room, because this has always been done through the ages, and monsters are going around and you can practice flinging spears at foamy monsters on tracks and then sticking them, and then there's things overlaying them to make them look more realistic with holograms or whatever. So you can really experience the movie, learn to shoot an arrow that way at something.
Exactly.
So many different things.
Little low power bows, that you can fire arrows.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got weak arms, and then you have some higher powered ones, but everybody's so weak.
There's scenes in movies that all dumb stuff, somebody slides down a building while shooting a bunch of arrows. Well, you can have something set up like they did in the studio really easy, where it's just you get pulled along a floor area and you have a bow and you get to try to do it with like blunted arrows.
Yeah, and it's all slick, and then you know,
with little like knee pads or whatever.
Yeah. Or they could give you like pullovers on your pants that are super slick against the surface, so you're wearing like CG pants, you know, and then they edit in like bandoliers and stuff, you know, because it's in the same place.
That's what I'm saying. I myself was always living a lifestyle like, okay, society's, you know, dying of pork, so I'm like, any moment if I could just convince someone that the chemicals in their brain aren't as important as what I'm saying, then I could get them on the right track, turn them into my movie slave, and, like, you know, actually spit out, like, 20 movies per second.
Yeah, or, you know, we could just do it ourselves because everybody's so lazy and competent and wants 50 takes of the same thing.
Yeah, as I go along, I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to have to deal with this situation again where, like, cool Arrow Man does this or that. Like, I get it worked out the first time, and then it's like an end product each time.
Mm-hmm.
For, like, fun in some way, you know? And everybody needs to think that through that way. Instead of, it's proprietary. Nobody gives a fuck. There's no secrets. Come on.
So, like, the ultimate movie theater would be one where you get to do your pink or purple Barbie tanning, for example, after the Barbie movie. Just an ideal. Then go play racquetball or tennis indoors and run on a track. We'll go to an eye doctor and get some taco time, you know?
You get the feeling like, you know, people would want to, like, just have gyms, like, everything needs to be able to, like, change theme somewhat. Mm-hmm. So, like, you can have your whole Barbie gym, you know, and then it can, you know, kind of change mood, you know? I don't know. And things that are going to last longer, people need to, like, actually be willing to admit what's a longer-term trend, rather than saying, boy, I sure wish my, you know, baseball card collection from 1982 was still important. I'm going to push that on everyone.
No, instead it's like, for the current movie that's trending, you have a gift shop, and then you have sponsored companies each month, each whatever period, that have their accessories, all the different ones they want to sell at some uniformly standardized price with stores, at least. So it's, you know, they're not more expensive at all. It's just promotion. And then everybody says, oh man, everything Batman related, everything Marvel related at whatever different, like, movies are coming out. Or, you know, all the accessories from Barbie that are pink or something, you know, whatever's going on.
And
like, you can buy a bunch of merchandise.
You know, that everybody was doing when the government would try to squeeze out money at everyone, so they would do this positive corporate feel where it's just like, it's a promotion, you know, there's so much money, this corporation makes so much money. This was the lie back in the day, but they just need to give out money to get even more customers, you know, whatever. It's stupid. They need to do more cool commercials because
it's really because everybody's bored, and if you never accept that, then you'll never accept that you're actually human, and you'll fade into the night completely.
You'll just keep saying economy
instead of
government.
Instead of why not, I guess it should happen. It's interesting enough that it should happen.
Yeah. Because, it's getting pretty boring.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's like my mind has always been pretty quick. I don't fill it with poison, so every minute, every hour is just ticking on by. And because I can't act in any movies, I can't practice any stunts, I can't do anything really. It just all boils down to a big crock of shit, and I'm really bored.
Well, like, for example, I already came up with the whole, like, it's a ride, what's that called? It's so hard to think of all my words. A whatever minecart ride. I can't think of the name of it.
I don't know.
Whatever that is, people go around on their
roller coaster.
Yeah. Well, that idea, if you had it in a big warehouse that's all set up with, like, the steel girders around the top and sides, then you have the robot arms, like, come in and fucking assemble after people, like, go into their sim creator for the movie. Like a whole new roller coaster that's put together with robot arms, however big the warehouse is, and then there's, you know, endless roller coaster movies, you know, that, like, enhance the 40X effect.
Yeah, you know those back post like ring things where they, you run with slick boots and like you turn different directions and play first person shooters in combination with a VR headset? Well, what if you had like an entire room where it's projected on the walls or the QLED panels they use for movies, so it's at a movie theater? This would be something that'd sell really well. Then you have like companies that specialize, like I always do, in sort of making tech demos rather than actual game as much. And then I can do this thing where like then you have like a level to play or something for all those gun run shoot movies from John Wick to anything, where then you get to run and shoot and move through a little level, whether it's a bank or a church or something, and open up a door and go in it, and it's just like, because generic first-person shooter concepts, but in the dynamic situation of a movie, pre-rendered everything like they were already doing, but for a purpose now with way more budget and computing power, and it's all surrounding you in like a room.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So then you don't even have to wear a headset and get all sweaty and worry about all the, taking those off and like putting on new strips all the time and removing germs.
Yeah, what you're saying is everything's just scanned and then, foamed out, so then, like, you can jump around like you're an action hero as everything's colored with lasers that look realistic, and then it's all foam instead, and you can smash into stuff and put your back against a wall as, supposedly bright flashes of gunfire, laser light go past.
Yeah, that's the ideal goal, and of course I would push for that design immediately, but in the current moment, what I'm saying can be developed and placed right today is like a QLED panel wall that looks seamless, like really, really, really good, and then it's like the 3D of an environment from some different angles, so then you can appreciate all the angles of what was rendered, because, they didn't know what they were going to use exactly, and like run through the level as the main character, the way you saw him shooting and doing stuff and sliding over walls a little bit, but instead you're on one of those little, like I said, runner things, and you shoot the gun around.
Yeah. I mean, who wants to recreate the Daniel Craig James Bond experience, from his first movie opener?
Yeah, right?
That's pretty cool. That'd be pretty fun.
Or you could even, have that loop that they use for movie making around your waist. That single ring loop.
Yeah.
And then if you're a real buff dude like us, I mean, and people would watch you do it because it's, they're so shitty at it, skinny or fat. You, like, use that in combination with, like, the walls being taller and everything. Then you actually can jump, and it assists you to jump higher to a certain point.
Yeah.
The ring on a giant robot arm around your waist with different, like, angles on the arm so it'll turn and assist you doing things dynamically. And then you can, jump, flip in midair, land straight back down because, you suggest with your hips as you turn, as it supports you. And then you can actually, forgo the pad right now, today, and use that and, actually run through the pre-programmed game environment with the assistance of the robot arm,
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking about was, like, I said this a long time ago. Theaters can have a sexy exterior that's all, a matte color or whatever. And then, like, it is just an outdoor theater as well. And you just project on the fucking building side.
Yeah, also, I forgot to mention it, fuck you, pay me. There's no reason why theaters shouldn't, because they're so big, have a side that's also for the outdoor projection and have a setup with a really good projector. That way you can really easily get IMAX, like I've been thinking about a lot. Because I had this other idea that you could build a theater just for IMAX, Screen X, and 4DX, which means on the sides, if not 5DX with the ceiling and floor up in front of you, or an Omnisphere, but like just for an audience, so it's technically IMAX because it's as much as your eyes can see while you're in the rocker chairs looking up at an angle. But that's even more logical. Like, bring back the outdoor theaters, maybe have that and one thing in every small town, so then it's not as much maintenance and everything.
Then the Mexicans can, attach everybody's, cars. See, all modern cars pretty much have, all four wheels dynamic, like, shock assist. So as that gets more advanced, like, you can have 40X for your whole car. like hooked up with a signal.
That's a very good point. They have such advanced computers in them for terrain. Every crossover since like 2012.
I mean, we have what, 2 cars, the Impala and the electric car, and they have that.
Yeah, I'm impressed that the Impala has it that early, but that's because it has a lot of features from the Jaguar.
Yeah.
That it took the engine from. It also has some of the computing just to make it work.
Yeah, but it's sure a hack job.
It is. It's somehow they were just at the right level to hack it up into your mom's minivan equivalency with a fat ass, just like your mom in 2006.
Yeah, boy, it's got its faults.
It's a Jaguar with a fat ass that, is, starting... It's had a couple of kids, it's not doing so well.
Yeah, like, I'm so sick of, like, going to, that... As though somebody unscrupulous suddenly set up an outdoor movie theater 5 million years ago.
Right.
And then it's still there, and we have to watch it, and it's all dirt, and everybody puts their fucking minivan backs up, and then you can't see the screen.
Yeah, instead you have it all standardized for every theater that's big enough. If they want to, especially if they want to make a mega complex with huge walls. That's IMAX right there.
Well,
then you pay a slightly cheaper price. You get to watch it outside.
Yeah.
Then they have it all organized so that you actually have like big old shrubs and pines and things blocking the wind from coming in, and then it's a lot more enjoyable too.
There's supposed to be a reason why fucking Tesla. And, like, well, my design for my Nintendo car, it's all, ionized glass, so you can see through it.
At every angle.
And watch a movie in an outdoor theater without, struggling.
Even though, of course, it's built for it, so the ground's all stair-stacked in a proper way and everything.
Yeah. Plus, then, my car design, see, it's all coming together, has its built-in projector, and then it can assist with movie effects right in your car. And cars, have real good surround sound systems, to help boost everything.
And then, then because like you're saying, it projects onto the glass up close. Then you have like really good close range when like you're wearing 3D glasses and watching it on the projector outside. It reaches within a certain range. Then it's like it's even closer to you.
Yeah, right.
A giant's hand, an asteroid, a piece of steel Superman threw next to you, or past your face or at it.
And then you can have an acoustic setup area with also speakers. Because I hate it how if it just send the broadcast on some FM station to your car speakers without having actual speakers in the parking lot as well.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm saying it's a whole setup that's for... It's not just a shitty outdoor theater. It's part of the movie theaters, the newer ones when they're built. It's part of even older theaters. It's like planted trees. It's, a whole terraced area so that the minivans, even if people have them, most likely they won't be in your way. And if they do have them, then just fuck them. They can already see it from the front of their vehicles, or they can just sit on their hoods. Like, stop bringing goddamn hatchback minivans everywhere. Fuck you.
And like the wings of the area, like it can be a little bit wider, and you have like 2 wings that people drive in on either side that are like go to a V near the screen.
Oh, you mean a corner of the building, so then you have twice as much space to project, 2 versions of the movie on for more audience.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it that way, yeah. I mean,
Or have the back of the movie theater, like you're saying, be V'd at some point, and have the internal design take note of it, so then they can see a movie that like has depth into the center a little bit, but it's like curved.
Yeah,
little,
you
so
could
it's not
curve
actually
it,
a straight
is what
line.
I'm saying, like a big, huge curve on the back of the theater.
So it's like a swath, like a oval swath.
But I was just saying, whatever works,
Yeah,
whatever,
for the situation.
Yeah.
Fuck you, pay me,
Yeah. But I'm just saying, so that if it whatever screen is extra big IMAX screen on the side of the theater, and everybody's trying to get in there and watch the new movie, then the angle of the cars to face the screen, they again needs to be like 2 like triangle shapes going towards the screen on either side, like the parking designated zones, and then like another pyramid in the center of that, so that like there's wings that are getting bigger on either side of cars out as they still have an angle to see it, and it prevents like if you have everything squared off to the screen.
Oh, absolutely, of
won't
course.
Be as good.
That's
for
why I kept
traffic
saying
management.
stadium-style seating in a sense for cars with tiers down, all wide.
Yep. Pretty much. And, that's takes care of that, I guess. I mean, the whole point is we're just getting to the future, and there'll no longer be the excuse that there's some other continent somewhere, and we're making up excuses currently on this continent that those people over there real poor and real not as cool as us. So that's the excuse why there's cars coming out of that place that are crappy, and no, there's never an excuse. There's never an excuse. Everybody's just a shithead, and they want to do it the way their grandpappy did it, and those type of people, I hate. I just hate those type of people. So, we need the future, not, cotton picking. And that's all I faced my whole life. And I'll just keep shocking all your butts harder, till I get something that actually trickles down to my level that makes my life complete,
Exactly.
So I guess, the theaters, it all seems to be built around that, because I'll just keep spitting out more movie ideas. It's not hard at all. I've done it my whole life. They're just more free-floating, loose ideas, because I never bothered putting them together till now, because people would always, rub their asses all over anything I said till 2020. Then magically, they're just transformed by the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Not to, listen,
But just to feel pain.
but just to feel pain. So that either makes them run away faster or agree really, aggressively while not giving a shit about actually paying you or anything. But they'll at least agree, That's, the new state of affairs. Yeah. I'm just thinking here. You remove all the bullshit fake officials of all existence on all levels, cluttering up all cities, and you realize that tons of buildings, they're just fake administration so people can feel more important than everyone else. And so, if you take all that away, you realize all that's left is just actually living, like entertainment and food and whatever. So, whole hubs around that can actually happen then. Because if you don't have all the administer buildings for, safety, public, notice that, crosswalks should do this or that, it got so bad in the 2000s as, each president, going through for a certain amount of time kept promising more shit, and the money kept being doled out, and everybody somehow was still taking more drug food that gave them energy in weird ways, that want to do their hobbies like they were a business and act like they were a special businessman. So then everybody's, doing all this shit while placeholding and barely doing it while pretending they're experts, and they'll all talk at you, and anything you say, you're not an expert because you don't have a business set up in the system with at least $1 million sunk into it, that can instantly be bailed out for you because you have a red face and you're over the age of 40 already. And that just was the system. That was the system, no matter what.
And they all deserve to be nuclear apocalypse with, what I mean is, by their own nuclei.
Yeah, exactly.
In maximum pain.
That sounds pretty hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, that's all I really got to say about that.
Yep, I kind of brought up other stuff already in connection to this.